All right, you ready?
All right. Go ahead.
Let's mute again because it's not yet. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Rotary District 5870 Central Texas Zoom series, Staying Connected. We want to welcome all of our District 5870 Rotarians we see on the call, as well as all of our Rotary family from all over the world. It's always great to see all of you, and thank you for being here. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. We're excited about our program today, and before we get started, we would like to have Amber go over some of the stuff that most of you know, but the housekeeping for the day. Amber?
I know. I feel like we are all totally pros at this already. But if you don't know how to rename yourself, and I think most people have renamed themselves, but just in case, I want you to find your picture and click on it. And 3 little buttons in the top right-hand corner are going to open up. That will open a menu that allows you to rename yourself. We want to see your name and where you're from. So your club or your district, or if you're a past district governor, we want to see that PDG there in front of your name or behind it. If you're a guest, we'd like to know that as well. In the top right-hand corner, you also have controls over whether you're seeing only my face on speaker view right now, or if you would like to see gallery view and see multiple tiles at one time, and that's up in the top right-hand corner. In the bottom left-hand corner is where you can mute yourself and unmute yourself. I think we're all finding that. You can also stop your video there as well, but we like seeing all of your faces, so keep them up if you have them. Then in the middle of the screen, there at the bottom is a chat box. That's open right now, and there's lots of good chats going, so come on in and join us in the chat. If you have a question throughout today, please clearly mark it, like type all caps, question. Myself and Jim and Patrick are going to be moderating those questions throughout, so feel free to type something in there if you have a question for our amazing speaker today. We're real excited. That's all I've got, Patrick.
And just a reminder, especially with my internet today, for some reason, our area is really having some issues. So if anything happens with anyone's internet today, stay with us. We will get it fixed. Don't hang up. We're going to get it all fixed and come right back to you. And if I freeze for a minute in a weird position, just go with it, and we'll move on. So today we have a very important program. It is an honor to have Dr. Sylvia Whitlock with us. She was the very first woman Rotary president of any club in any place in Rotary. She is truly an inspiring leader. She's an innovator, and she's made a lasting impact on our organization. So it is an honor to have you with us today, and we really look forward to hearing from you shortly. And then after Dr. Whitlock speaks, we're going to have a Q&A as always. So make sure to put your questions marked clearly in the chat, and we promise we'll get to as many questions as we can. And if we don't answer it, we'll get to it after the program offline. After that, we're going to have an important announcement. So please stay tuned. Don't just drop off when we're done. Stay tuned afterwards, because DG Jim's going to have an important announcement. And we're going to explain some things that are going to be happening that you'll want to know about in the future. So with that, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for taking the time today. And I will pass it over to our District Governor, Jim Henry. Jim?
Thank you, Patrick. And again, it is so great to see everybody's smiling face on our Friday afternoon Zoom series. Before we get started, I want to call on District Governor-elect Rick Stacy, who's got a couple of things, words of wisdom that he wants to share with us. So take it away, Rick.
Thank you, Jim. I've got 3 bits of news: good, better, and best. The good news is the 70th Rotary Club of Marble Falls Fish Fry is not being canceled, but it is going to be postponed and for a date later in the year. The stars are just not aligning correctly for us to pull the quality fish fry that we would that you come to expect. So we will reschedule that. So stay tuned for that. The better news is that there are still tickets available and seats available for this next Saturday, the installation banquet at the Oasis restaurant. Now that's for president-elects will be installed. Any club officer, committee chair will be installed as well. I just came back from the Oasis this afternoon. We're in a room of 400. We're going to have about 100 people there. So there's plenty of elbow room. We can meet any and all requirements for self-distancing and that sort of thing. It's open air. The whole side of the Our room opens up towards the lake, and it's a beautiful view. It's going to be a beautiful venue. Oasis Restaurant, 11 o'clock, the 27th. However, the best news, and this is hot off the press, and it's really guided towards president-elects and other club officers that are going to be at the installation banquet. You are going to have the opportunity and the privilege to be installed by Rotary International Director-elect Susie Howe. She's going to be there. You'll get all the photo ops and all that, but a lot of us will go many years in Rotary and not rub shoulders with a Rotary International Director. And you're going to have a chance to add that to your resume that you were installed by her, Susie Howe. She's a great person, a great friend of our district, and she will be there on Saturday. So go to the district website and look for Installation Banquet, and there's still tickets available. Hope to see you there. Jim, thank you for allowing me the commercial.
Oh, sure, Rick. And it's going to be a great event. So hopefully register on the district website. I do want to thank everybody for being here today. I always acknowledge our very, very special guests, which are all the Rotarians from District 5870. As I tell you, we're doing this for y'all to stay connected during these crazy, crazy times in this crazy, crazy year. So I am so glad that we've got so many folks from our district that are with us here today. We do have some special guests that I want to acknowledge. A first-time visitor to our club and good friend of past District Governor Emma Sue Johnson. We have past District Governor Irv Kaplan and his wife Ruth, who's joining us. Irv is a past District Governor in District 6450 in Chicago. I guess District 1 sometimes is what they call it, because since it's at the birthplace of our founder. And if you ever go to Chicago, you might run into Irv and his wife Ruth, because for many years they've kind of been the official or unofficial greeters at the Paul Harris home and the Paul Harris Memorial. So they'll show you a good time. So Irv and Ruth, thank you for being with us today. I also want to welcome our almost permanent guest, Miss Helen Reisler, who's joining us from New York City, the Rotary Club of New York City. Helen's been a speaker for, I don't know, she spoke to us about the third or fourth one of our Zoom series. So Helen, welcome again. I appreciate you being here. And I also want to welcome, we've got several Rotarians from not only our district, but throughout the country and from around the world. We've got district governors, we've got zone representatives. Welcome to all of our guests. We are in for such a big treat today. As Patrick mentioned, our special guest is Dr. Sylvia Whitlock, who will be speaking to us today. You're going to hear more about her Rotary Club experience a little bit later, but I wanted to give you just a little background on Dr. Whitlock. She was born in New York City, but then she migrated to Kingston, Jamaica, where she was educated in Kingston, Jamaica. Then she returned to New York City and got a BA in psychology from Hunter College. Then she moved to California, the world traveler that she is. And in California, she got her master's degree cum laude in education from Cal Poly Pomona. And she wasn't through yet. She then got her PhD from cum laude from Claremont Graduate School, her PhD in education. Now that she's in education, she just can't stop being educated. So once again, she got another master's degree in marriage and family therapy from the Azusa Pacific University. Sylvia has so many activities within her club and within the district of Rotary that there are way too many to mention. She also has numerous outside community activities. A couple of interests. In 1998, she was named the Distinguished Alumni by Cal Poly Pomona University. And in 2000, she was named the Woman of the Year by the NAACP. She's been past district governor was the past district governor in 2012, 2013 from District 5300 out in California. Now, y'all will remember a few weeks ago, one of our speakers was past Rotary International Vice President Jennifer Jones. And at that time, Jennifer had just received a special award. And the special award was established by Rotary International in 2017 at the International Convention in Atlanta. And it was an award that recognizes individuals, men or women, who have contributed to the success of women in Rotary. And Jennifer received that award. The name of that award is the Sylvia Whitlock Leadership Award. So I am so proud and honored to introduce to y'all the woman who changed Rotary. Dr. Sylvia Whitlock, the stage is all yours. You need to unmute yourself, Dr. Whitlock.
Yeah, okay, I'm unmuted. I'm so delighted to be here. This is such an interesting time to be here. You know, I always call my talk, or I try to call my talk, The Edge of Tomorrow. We've never been more on the edge of tomorrow than we are today. This is a today, you know, when we're covered, the whole earth is covered with coronavirus. And we're talking about looking at a vaccine for coronavirus, much the same way we looked at a vaccine for polio. And our goal before this was to have polio eradicated from the world. Now, it's not nearly polio, you know, it's endemic in only 3 places now, you know, with a couple of little blips here and there, but really only in Pakistan and Afghanistan and Nigeria. Nigeria is almost off. Nigeria hasn't had any polio cases for maybe more than 3 years. But, you know, it's also seen women in Rotary past more than 33 years. Hard to imagine. I'm still talking about this. There's still people who are interested in hearing how women came to be in Rotary 33 years ago. You know, so many people who are new to Rotary have no idea that there was a time when women couldn't be in Rotary, or that it took us that long to convince Rotary that they needed to have women. It actually took us 11 years. However, a lot of people are hearing about women in Rotary for the first time. Although so many people didn't know about this, I remember when I was invited by our superintendent of schools to join Rotary Club. I was a new school principal. And new school principals are interested in what they can do in a community, because if the community is doing well, if parents are doing well, the children will do well in school. And so the things that interested me were things that we could do for the community. And I remember Dr. Key saying, "Don't worry about this. We have this all covered." He said, "We're going to invite you to join Rotary." And I thought, what's Rotary? I had never heard of Rotary. What I knew about Rotary then could have been loosely written on the head of a pin. I knew about Kiwanis. Do you guys know what Kiwanis means? Anybody know? It means waiting to get into Rotary. Thank you for the laugh. But you know what? It was a Kiwanian person who told me that story. And, you know, Kiwanians do the same kind of wonderful humanitarian service that we do in Rotary. But I also knew about Elks, you know, the people who wear those wonderful hats, you know, and Lions, because I was a person in school. And Lions took care of eyeglasses for the children in school. But I had literally never heard about Rotary. Not an uncommon occurrence to most people who are invited for the first time. But I knew that in my school district, they were locked in a struggle with our small club. And I'll tell you today a little bit about the legal wrangling and some of the funnier and maybe some of the worthwhile experiences that we had. So I was in Duarte. Duarte, little bedroom community in the San Gabriel Valley, home to the renowned City of Hope Hospital and the Duarte Unified School District. But in this community was this small club struggling to raise membership. And I want you to listen carefully, because what Dick he did when he invited women to join Rotary was designed to raise membership in his club. He was not pursuing a civil rights issue, but it was a civil rights issue, much as we have civil rights issues today. But Dick was interested in getting members in his club. And so he thought, you know, we have all these women principals and psychologists. And at that time, this is in the 1970s, late 1970s. At that time, most Rotarians were executive types, people in leadership positions in their careers. And Dick was thinking, I have all these leaders in my district. Why can't I invite them to join Rotary? Well, he had never seen any women in Rotary, but he thought, so what else is new? So he went to the district governor and he said, I have an idea. I have a lot of women I think would make good Rotarians. And, you know, I would like to invite them to join Rotary. And the district governor said, well, he listened to Dick and he thought, well, that sounds okay. Go ahead and invite them. But I tell you what, when you send their names into Rotary, we have never had women before. When you send their names into Rotary, don't send in their full names. Just send in their first initials, first name initials. This way, nobody will know whether they're male or female. Now, it didn't pass the four-way test, did it? No, didn't pass the four-way test. And that action was not without people who dissented. In fact, there was one member of the club, one member of the Duarte Club, and it was only about 15 strong at the time. One member of the club decided he could see the death of this club. And he was well positioned to recognize death because he was the local undertaker. And he resigned from the club. But he was the only one who resigned. The women came in, their names were sent in as initials, and they joined the spirit and the work of Rotary. They had yard sales, they made snow cones for the city picnic, they made breakfast with Santa Claus, breakfast with the Easter Bunny, Thanksgiving baskets for needy families, and, you know, the things that Rotarians do, dinner for cancer survivors, all of that. But they also got busy planning their first event, which was the 25th anniversary of the Rotary Club of Duarte. And what happens when you have an anniversary like that? Rotary International sends representatives to help you to celebrate. And so the celebration was set, and everything was in place, and the international representatives planned their recognition of this milestone as they do for all club milestones. At the festivities, the Duarte women were introduced, to the palpable consternation of the international representative. The buzz was obvious. The representative said, we don't have women in Rotary. And somebody said, this club does. Well, he thought, we'll see about that. So he went back to Evanston after the party, and he reported, can you imagine, there's this renegade club in Duarte that thinks it has women in it. Well, International didn't lose any time writing to Duarte and telling them three things. Women are not allowed in Rotary. Women need to be asked to leave. And if they didn't leave, the club could not call itself a Rotary Club. Just like that, boom, boom, boom. Ask the women to leave, there are no women in Rotary, and if they don't leave, stop calling yourself a Rotary Club. The club took a vote and decided it wouldn't ask the women to leave. Instead, it asked to appeal to the board of directors, and when he was talking about Susie Howard, it asked to appeal to the board of directors, but it was told only real Rotary clubs can appeal to the board of directors. And if women are in this club, it's not a real Rotary club, so you can't appeal to it. Well, the club thought, they looked around, they thought, so what do we do? They decided they would appeal to the Council on Legislation. And the council was meeting that year in Tokyo. So one member, our Mr. Rotary, was chosen to take the issue to Tokyo. But it was an interesting situation, however, because when the issue came up for consideration, it was not whether women should be permitted to be members, but whether the Rotary Club of Duarte had violated Rotary bylaws by inviting women to be members. And of course, the answer was clear. The die was cast. The vote against having its club retain its women at that time was 1,000 to 34. Actually, there were 34 people at that meeting that were in favor of having women in Rotary. They were sympathetic to the issue. And I met one of them in Calgary in the late 80s. I was on a train. We were going downtown to the convention. And I was sitting across from a man and his wife. And you know how you read people's name tags when you're at a convention, and he was reading my name tag. And he said, Duarte, is that the club that had women, that tried to get women in Rotary? And I said, I have this big smile on my face. And I said, yeah, that is. And he said, I was at the Council on Legislation in Tokyo, and I voted to have women in Rotary because I always thought they should be there. And his sweet wife sitting next to him said, I didn't think so then, and I don't think so now. And I thought, why? And she said, because we have men going out to meetings at night, Rotary meetings at night, and we don't want them going out to meetings with women. Who knows what's going on? And I thought, no, we're nice people. We're nice Rotary people. Well, you know what? It wasn't the first time that issue had come up at the Council on Legislation. In fact, in the 1950s in Detroit, a club in India had put an item to change the bylaws about women on the agenda. And it was defeated, and the club didn't press it. But even more interesting, the first Rotary Constitution didn't specify that Rotarians had to be men. It just said persons of good character. But that was a time when there were few women in the workaday world. And because men were the ones engaging in fellowship and business activities, the bylaws just kind of morphed into men of good character. If I could ask Paul Harris a question today, it would be, would you have excluded women from joining Rotary? I asked the Paul Harris I saw standing in Evanston, is the larger-than-life Paul Harris figure there, and I said, would you have excluded women from joining Rotary? And he didn't say a word, not a single word. Well, I moved on. Jack Davis, who was the president of Rotary International at the time, said, the unity of Rotary International was jeopardized by the unilateral move of the Duarte Club. And so Rotary, to convince us that they were not fooling around, sent a representative to Duarte right to a meeting, Wednesday morning meeting, and asked for the charter of the club. If we weren't going to ask the women to leave, our club would no longer be chartered. And so they took the charter of our club. And so we looked around, people looked around, and Bill Brooks, I remember, said, okay, so we can't call ourselves a Rotary Club. I know what we'll do. We'll call ourselves the ex-Rotary Club of Duarte. We'll just put an X over the Rotary insignia. And can you guys see this? Can you see this pin? This is a Rotary pin with an X over it. We became the ex-Rotary Club of Duarte. And we were the ex-Rotary Club of Duarte for 11 years. And that's the club of which I was a member. So when all this happened, a Rotarian, an enterprising Rotarian from a neighboring club, from a club in Arcadia, said, you know what, I think we can take this to court. We still weren't serious about the civil rights thing. We still weren't even considering civil rights. Members, we thought this is a service club. They need people to do community service. They need people to do good work. why would Rotary want have as many people as could help them to do their work? So Sanford said, we'll take this to the courts. So as we prepared to take it to California courts, we gave Rotary notice telling them that we were going to do this. And of course, Rotary petitioned, but that the case not be heard in California because it said not all members of the board of directors are Californians. But the real reason was there had been a precedent in federal court where a New York club had been seeking exclusionary rules for private club membership. And the case had gone its way in New York, and so in federal court, and so they wanted to have it heard in federal court. But the federal court ruled that the case should be heard in the California court. And so it was first heard by the California Superior Court, which upheld Rotary's right to expel the club. And this was our first setback. This was our first clue that things were serious, because really, we didn't think that this was ever going to run into that kind of a roadblock. And so when we received that first action, immediately Sanford said, you know what, we'll appeal to the California Appellate Court, but we need to do some work. And so he did some work. He looked around and he found out that in California, as in a lot of states, and maybe even in a lot of countries, there were laws that banned discrimination in public accommodations. And Rotary, was deemed to be a public accommodation. At that time, 80% of the Rotarians had their membership dues paid by their employers, because it was a fellowship. It was a situation that was considered, like railroads and trains, all of this stuff, a public accommodation. So he appealed, and this act, by the way, was the Unruh Act, the Jesse Unruh Act. It was authored by Jesse Unruh. And he appealed to the appellate court on the basis of the Unruh Act. And the appellate court reversed the Superior Court ruling immediately. And so Rotary wasn't sitting back at all. By now, we had gone maybe 5, 6, 7 years, but Rotary wasn't sitting back, and they thought, okay, we'll appeal to the California Supreme Court. Remember, it went from Superior Court to the Appellate Court, and now they're going to the California Supreme Court. But the California Supreme Court wouldn't hear the case, which essentially was affirming the decision of the Appellate Court. But now, this is a California decision. And this decision is incumbent on all California Rotary clubs, but only California. And so we moved on, and this is where it started to get interesting, and some of it kind of funny. And we're still not serious yet, but we're quasi-serious. Before women, things changed very slowly in Rotary. This was the year in which I was president-elect, and so I was invited to attend PETS. All president-elects attend PETS. And so, our club has a whole set of postcards that you send out to incoming presidents. And so I got the postcard that says, you're invited to attend PETS. It was in Garden Grove on such and such a date. Please bring your coat and tie because directory pictures will be taken. All right. So I took my coat and tie. And I was the only woman at that PETS with 290 men. 290 men. We didn't even have a woman speaker. But you know what the nicest thing about that proportion was? During restroom breaks, there were long lines outside the men's restroom. And I could just sashay pass into the ladies' restroom because there was nobody else going in the ladies' restroom. Not even one female speaker. But most of the men were cordial and very friendly, and they were interested in how we had gotten to that place. So at the section on Rotary International, you know how those sections are at PETS, at the section on Rotary International, I heard our incoming governor discuss the case. And he said to us, this is what he said, Rotary International will appeal to the United States Supreme Court, and we have every reason to believe we will win. I couldn't believe I was hearing this. I mean, I went to school here. The Supreme Court, I mean, we handle things like Roe versus Wade or Board of Education in Topeka, Kansas. But women in a service club, I couldn't believe it. And he added, in direct reference to the small size of our club, it's just a case of the mouse that roared. Well, I'm sitting in this room with all these men, listening to all this stuff, and I'm making furious notes. I've already thought, you know, the mouse that roared. That's what we're going to call ourselves. Ex-Rotary Club of Duarte, the mouse that roared. And we even made a little mouse pin. I wish I had one to show you. We even made a little mouse pin with a Rotary icon on its back. Well, we went back and we had our new banners made. And I didn't think, we're talking about 1987, that somebody would be appealing a case about women's membership in a service club to the distinguished United States Supreme Court. My private opinion, which was not a well-studied opinion, my private opinion was that it was not important enough to be heard. But I did appeal, because as one of their attorneys so commonly put it, they're forcing us to take everybody in, just like a motel. Well, RI's argument was that the ruling violated their First Amendment's right of association. But you know what? The Supreme Court did take the case. And on the 4th of May, 4 months after they took the case, the court found that considering the size, purpose, selectivity, and exclusivity of Rotary's membership, the relationship among the club's members was not of the intimate or the private variety which warranted First Amendment protection. That was the court's opinion. So writing for the unanimous court, Sandra Day O'Connor didn't vote because her husband was a Rotarian. She didn't want that thing. Justice Powell argued, and many of Rotary's activities, including their meetings, are conducted in the presence of strangers. And because women members would not prevent the club from carrying out its purposes, there was no violation of associational rights. Furthermore, he said, and this is the huge paragraph on which everything hung. Furthermore, he said, even if there were a slight encroachment on the rights of Rotarians to associate, that minimal infringement would be justified, since it serves the state's compelling interest in ending sexual gender discrimination. And there I was. And now the decision was incumbent on all USA clubs. So I was driving to my job as principal of an elementary school when the news came over the airwaves. I'm on the freeway listening to it. The news, remember, came on in the East Coast in the morning. We're 3 hours earlier in California. And by the time I got to school, I think all the media in the world were on my doorstep. So all the kids in the school, because there were cameras all over the place. This was a big, big decision. Well, Mary Lou Elliott, the very first woman who went into a Rotary Club meeting, and I were invited by the superintendent to come to the district office because Warren Olney, some of you guys may remember Warren Olney, he was a CBS newscaster. No, I think interviews for NPR. Warren was interviewing for the networks. And so we went to the district office and we sat there where I was asked, because I was incoming governor, I had a Rotary position. I was asked many questions to which I thought I gave studied and intelligent answers. I tried my best. Near the end of the interview, in fact, we were already on our feet because we were there some 3 to 4 hours. I was asked how I got selected to be president. Well, you don't ask a Rotarian that because they give you this dumb answer that says, well, standard response. I don't know. I must have missed the meeting. Well, to this day, I can't believe I said that. In a decidedly careless and unstudied moment, I said, oh, I don't know. I must have missed the meeting. Well, that evening, that story was the top of the news. It was the first item on the news, including my inane and embarrassing response. Oh, I don't know. I must have missed the meeting. I started to learn then of the capriciousness of the media, and I knew I was going to have to adopt a more serious mode. And I did. I did. So back at the club, we had to move our meeting place because we couldn't accommodate all the people who wanted to come and see this mouse that roared. They wanted to come and see this little club. They came from Germany, they came from Korea, they came from South America. They were just ever so curious. And I learned how to be circumscribed in any and all answers I would give about this case. This was also my year as incoming president, and I had to settle into the goals we had set, which at that time included Polio Plus, while the whole world was watching to see what we're going to be doing. We had some interesting telephone calls, including one about the food. It asked if the food were any better now that there were women in Rotary. And I said, no, because we're not cooking it. But some were decidedly less pleasant. We didn't get a welcome back from Rotary, but we did get a new news schedule, which means we knew, they knew that we knew we were there. And then, of course, it took 2 more years until 1989 when Frank Devlin, who recently died, made a really impassioned speech to the Council on Legislation, and they voted to accept women members into Rotary 2 years after the Supreme Court decision. But interestingly enough, it wasn't until 2004 that the Rotarian printed several articles about women in Rotary. And then I was in the centerfold. But before you get excited, I was in the centerfold in a black turtleneck all the way up to here. I was told what to wear for that interview. So I was fully clothed. And Rotary, of course, has removed the final vestiges of sexist language so that now they profit most who serve the best. And even more new, a club may not be chartered now unless its membership is open, and the operative word is open. It's open to both men and women. This didn't start as a women's issue, but as a simple attempt to recruit more members into Rotary. And how successful has that been? We still have some room. We still have some room. About 30% of the Rotarians in the United States are women. A little over 20% of Rotarians around the world are women. There is a lot of room for growth, but they have worked together for 25 years. And that was the beginning of my journey through Rotary. A chance, an opportunity to serve really in an ever-shrinking world, the opportunity to meet men and women who can see and articulate a need and its solution. And it's all we wanted, no matter how difficult the way or how meager the resources. President Matriarchi, when he was RI president, said, women serve alongside men in every segment of life, in education, in medicine, in warehouses, and in construction. Why not at Rotary? So I was in an incredibly fortunate place when all this happened because it has brought such bounty into my life. I've served my district in many positions, including district governor, and I've had the pleasure of talking to many clubs, countless clubs here and overseas, who are all fascinated by this story. And I've made up in many clubs in other countries. In fact, my first makeup internationally was in the Rotary Club of Clapham, some of you may know, in London, where Queen Elizabeth and I were toasted on the same glass of champagne. Well, our club went on to sink water wells in Jos, Nigeria, and establish an AIDS clinic in Jamaica. We have someone here from Jamaica. And to support an orphanage in Mexico and numerous other grants. 2 years ago, I was part of a NIDS campaign in India. This is almost 12 years ago, I was part of a NIDS campaign in India. And there is little that compares with the feeling that through Rotary, you may have saved the life of that child into whose mouth you place those inoculating drops and contributed to the eradication of a dread disease. And we do all these with the help of the Rotary Foundation, which provides the backbone of the humanitarian work that we do. I give to the foundation because it maximizes money given by individuals and others and allows me to serve the creative efforts of all who believe in service above self. Pennies a day, dimes a day, a quarter a day, and before we know it, it adds up to worthwhile contributions. And we do it because we can remember when polio was present everywhere. And now, when we succeed in eradicating polio, when we succeed in eradicating coronavirus, with the help of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, WHO, UNICEF, CDC, it will only have been the second disease wiped out from the face of the earth, the first being the dreaded smallpox. In India, I've met many Rotarians to whom service above self is a creed by which they live daily. You know, I continue to live out my grandmother's example, and she taught me well. She had never heard the words service above self, but the example she set me in her careful, thoughtful way shaped my life. Our core value is service above self. The year that I was district governor, our goal was peace through service. And I do believe that until we meet the needs of people for food, clothing, shelter, clean water, healthcare, education, and all the basics, there is no place in which they can receive and absorb and respect the concept of peace. One of my favorite projects, the year that I was district governor, was an Education for Girls program started by Deepa Willingham, who started a school in India. I have learned over the years that my community is not just the residential area in which I live, or the town that supports it, or even the city that governs it. We are citizens of the world, where every action, however remote or seemingly far removed, has a ripple effect on us and on all others. Listen to the news from around the world and look at the effect it has on us. To the extent that they are well, we are well. I think often of Martin Luther King's reminder to us to ask ourselves each day, what have we done to help someone? To whom much is given, much is expected. When we give, whatever it is, even 3 dimes a day, it's from the bounty with which we have been blessed, and we hardly even miss it. But attracting members to help us do the good work is key. We wear Rotary pins as ID pins, but can anyone noticing your pin tell that it says Rotary International? And if they can, do they know what Rotary International is? I fly a lot, at least I used to, mostly on airplanes. And a good way to attract someone's attention is to drop your pin on the floor in front of you. Well, unless you're a contortionist with arms 5 feet long or Rotarian on a mission, it's impossible to retrieve your pin. So now you're struggling down there trying to get this pin up off the floor. And if somebody in the seat next to you would make a good Rotarian, he will also help you get your pin. In the process, he'll say, what are you doing? And you say, I'm trying to get my Rotary pin. This is really important. And he'll say, Rotary? Rotary? What is Rotary? So you stop and you tell him what Rotary is all about. And you give him that little blue card that says, what is Rotary? Or you give him your elevator speech. Write it tonight if you don't have one. Write it as soon as you take off your pin and put it on your pajamas. And the person who's sleeping next to you says, you're putting your Rotary pin on your pajamas? Why? And you say, because it's real important and I want to have it with me all the time. I wouldn't want to die tonight and not be wearing my Rotary pin. Well, you know what? The next morning he's around the coffee machine or the water cooler and he's laughing and telling his coworker about the Rotary pin. And the bottom line is that coworker will say, Rotary pin? What is Rotary? Another opening. You tell somebody else about Rotary. You get somebody else into a Rotary club. Who knows? They may just be so attracted to membership. So, you know what? I'm a Rotarian who, with other Rotarians in this ever-shrinking world, will work to make it a happier place. Cleaner, more self-sustaining, and more peaceful than it was when I came into it. I will support the fact that Rotary functions on the edge of tomorrow, a tomorrow into which we can just catapult aimlessly or carefully negotiate entry into. Most satisfying job I've had with the Rotary was to work with the young people at RILA, with ambassadorial scholars, with youth exchange students, with GSC team members, and so on. And just as the time was right in the 70s for women to be included in service clubs, so it's right now for us to focus on young people, new generations, with all their energy and zeal, fine men and women of character, who in service above self will know that they profit most, who serve the best, and they will wholeheartedly engage Rotary and change lives. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. You know, I just can't imagine a Rotary without women. I can't imagine a Rotary without the incredible leadership of all the women that we get to work with and that we see on the international stage, making such, and some of you are on this call today, that makes such an insanely amazing difference in lives all over the world. So thank you for all that you did and all your...
Yeah, the difficult thing to understand was why, needing people to do the work of Rotary, anyone would have turned down the opportunity to have women also do it. Just didn't make sense. And when you stop and think about the reasons that may have caused that, they're not too Rotarian.
No, they're not. And I just can't tell you, from a Rotarian that is so proud to be a Rotarian and is so proud to, you know, share that I'm a Rotarian all over my world. I am so grateful for what you and your club and all the people that fought with you did to make Rotary what it is today. So I thank you. And I think we're going to have some time now to do some Q&A, but I want to make sure you read some of these chats that are in the chat section. We're getting a lot of love and a lot of just applause for the great fight that you took on. I'm going to start with District Governor Jim. Jim, and if anybody has any questions, please write them in the chat section. We are short. We're getting close on time, so we're going to do this really quick and good. So,
okay, and I'm going to make this quick because I've got just a really quick little story. I was president of the Northwest Austin Rotary Club in 95, 96. And to this day, the best thing, and many of my club members may say the only good thing that I did when I was president of my club, was to nominate the first woman president for the Rotary Club of Northwest Austin. Miss Deedis Hall was our president-elect and our first president in 96, 97. And many of you know who Deedis is. She's with us today on the phone. Deedis, can you say hi? If she can unmute.
I don't know if she'll be able to do it because she's calling in usually, isn't she, Jim?
Yeah, she's on the phone. Anyway, she's with us on the phone today. And many of you know our club for what we're famous for is selling fruit. That was Deedis's idea. So the thing that has kind of put our Rotary Club on the map was Deedis Hall, our first woman president. My only good thing I did as president. So that's my only comment now.
And we've had many great women presidents since then, including our current one and our previous one.
Right.
That's awesome.
I love all the comments in here of people, the 7th Rotarian and the downtown club. And I know a lot of these women throughout our district, and the 1st and 2nd and the 3rd, you know, we have a lot of those originals.
And Sylvia,
I love it.
Sylvia, my phone's been blowing up while this has been going on from all of our guests from other districts that are like, hey, I wish I was on today, but we have this meeting and that meeting isn't being recorded. There's a lot of people that want to give you love and hear this recording later on. I have a question for you though. For anyone that's listening today or going to listen to this in the future, that is sitting back in this time period in our lives with diversity, with other issues that Rotary is looking forward and needing to address. What would you say to a Rotarian that feels like they can't make a difference alone? They can't make a difference because they just maybe are a member of a club somewhere in this country, in this world, what would you say to that person today?
You can make a
made such a
difference. Whatever you do, wherever you do it, you can make a difference. You don't make a difference if you don't do anything. Doing nothing is accepting what is.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Perfect answer. Hey, and can I get you to repeat, Sylvia, you had one of the best phrases in there. You said, I give to the Rotary Foundation because it allows us to collectively give with others that serve others. There was something, it was a beautiful quote. And I would like, you remember what it was?
It allows me to serve. It allows me to serve. I think I said I give to.
I think it was the best explanation of giving to the Rotary Foundation I've ever heard, because it was collectively giving with other people that believe in service to others. And I think that was just perfect. So I appreciate that today.
So do we, I know we have a lot of comments, and Jim, do you want to ask a question before we wrap up here?
And thank you, Jim, for making that contact with me.
Yeah, that was great. It was so good to talk to you in setting this all up. I do have a question. One of the things that we love to hear from our speakers from all over Rotary is a little snippet of their Rotary story. So if you had one aha moment in Rotary, other than becoming the first woman president, if there's an aha moment in Rotary that really turns you into the Rotarian that you are today, could you share that with us?
You know, I was on a NIDS. I was on a NIDS trip in Delhi, and walking around with the people there. They were not Rotarians. I think they were social workers who were going around giving polio shots. And we went, and they had a list of kids. And they went to this house, rang the doorbell. They knew who they were looking for. And the woman came with a baby. And she was a Rotarian, actually. And they gave the child the inoculation, and they were about to leave. And she said, don't go. She said, I have a friend upstairs who had a baby about 3 weeks ago, and she's probably not on your list. Can we give this baby an inoculation? And they said, of course. And she went upstairs and brought this baby down. And I have pictures of it somewhere on my thing of her. And just the whole notion that here's a child, she wasn't even on anybody's list. Nobody expected it. And this could have been a child who could have been a casualty. But here was somebody who said, here is Rotary, and Rotary can take care of this baby. It was just one example of what we do, the huge thing that we do when we say it allows us to serve the creative efforts of all who believe in service. Yeah, that was the moment. It was that NIDS experience when that little baby that wasn't on anybody's list and could have been a casualty got that inoculation. For me, that was a big thing.
Well, Sylvia, I just want to thank you so much on behalf of everybody on this call. And again, everybody that's a Rotarian today. It is, I've heard you speak before. I've spent some time with you before, and it just never ceases to inspire me every time I hear that story, because I'm so honored to be a Rotarian, and to think that at one point you and I couldn't have been Rotarians together just blows my mind. So I just want to thank you again. And we're so grateful for all that you do for Rotary and all you do for humanity. And you're just such an inspiring innovator. And also, you were saying some good stuff about public image there at the end. That's Amber and I's game, and we're going to have you come tour the country with us when we go speak places. You come hang with us, and we'll go eat afterwards.
Yeah,
thank you.
That was great.
Thank you for being here, and stay with us for a minute, because we're going to do a photo. In fact, we can go ahead and do that right now. Pam, will you do that? Normally Susie does this for us. Pam, do you mind doing this for us? If everybody can just stay still for a minute, put a good smile on your face. Pam's going to unmute herself and tell us when she's done with all the pages. I want to get a nice group shot here. So Pam, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Pam.
Hey, guys.
For everybody that doesn't know Pam Blankensy on our Zoom call today, she is our amazing district webmaster. She does all of her social media stuff. She's awesome. Pam is a rock star to our district.
Pam, you want to move to California?
She lives
I am in
California.
California.
She's your neighbor, actually. She's your neighbor.
I have a big house with a lot of room.
I need to know each other. All right, Pam, are you good? You got it?
I got everybody's photo. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
I'm going to share
Well,
my screen
Buddy.
real quick, Pam.
And
Thank
she
you so
helps
much.
other districts as well. So I just have to throw
Yes,
that.
yes. Pam is our favorite. And thank you, Pam, for all you do. I want to say that I hope you guys have all enjoyed this series so far. And I hope that, you know, if you want to continue to see this after the Rotary year is ended, we'd like to get your feedback. Obviously, we plan on doing obviously continuing in the future, but I will say this is our very last Zoom series on this Friday for the Rotary year, which just is insane. When we've done 14 or 15 episodes now, I think, and it has been an incredible experience to be able to not only bring all of our District 5870 Rotarians together, but to connect outside our district to all of our friends from all over the Rotary world and hear incredible, inspiring stories of why we should be continually proud of being a Rotarian and being a part of the #1 service organization on the planet. So I'd like to unmute everybody for a second. And I'd like to just give a round of applause to District Governor Jim Henry for all the incredible work he's done this year. This has been a very tough year. And when we first met at the beginning, we didn't know what it was going to look like at the end. But we all fought through it. And Jim has worked so hard to.
Hey, Jim.
Applause to Jim.
Yeah.
It's all of y'all.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
No,
More,
seriously.
more. We want more.
More.
Oh, no.
More.
And I will say this, Amber and I will be meeting and Pam will be meeting with District Governor-elect Rick sometime in July. And we're going to be talking about the next set of episodes coming ahead. We're going to take a couple of weeks break because this is a very busy time for all of us in leadership and Rotary. So give us a moment. And then we will stay tuned and we'll be telling you about the episodes coming up ahead in the next month or so. So with that, Amber's going to show her screen real quick.
I am. I'm still muting some folks, though. So if you guys could go ahead and help me mute yourselves back there, that would be really great. We're getting a little bit of background. I am going to share my screen here real quickly. Remind all of you that this is our district website. Again, thank you, Pam. And under the events is the Zoom series, Staying Connected. All of our Zoom series are recorded and live right here on this page. And there's our Dr. Sylvia Whitlock right there. So her presentation is going to go right down here behind Mike's. And Mike's on today too. So everybody say hi to Mike. Hey, Mike.
What's up, Mike?
All right.
So please go here, share these. I know a lot of clubs are using these as presentations in their own Zoom meetings right now. They're a great way to stay connected. So do go watch those. I also wanted to pull up, I got here to the riconvention.org. So for everybody that needs to sign up and participate in the RI convention coming up, that's where you do it. That's what I've got.
Awesome. District Governor Jim, any last words?
Yeah, I want to say a little something. We were planning our district conference and we were going along just swimmingly. Then all of a sudden the first part of March hit. And then we said, we hate to do it, but as y'all know, we had to cancel our district conference. We were calling it the Celebration of Clubs, which was going to be in Bernie, Texas, and it was going to be a great event. But soon after that, I called up Amber and Patrick and said, we got to do something. If we can't celebrate our clubs in person, we've got to celebrate some other way. So I came up with the idea, why don't we just get all the district folks together on this thing called Zoom? You know, first part of March, middle of March, I had no idea what Zoom was. And now we know way, way too much about Zoom. So with Amber and Patrick's help, we said, yeah, let's start this thing. So at the end of March, we had our very first Zoom series meeting. And the whole intent was to get our district together to maintain our connection with each other, to celebrate what this year had meant to us, to bring in speakers from around the Rotary world to talk to us about what Rotary is doing, to inspire us and motivate us. You know, we haven't had a formal virtual district conference, but in my mind, maybe I'm the only one, but in my mind, every week for the last 3 months, we've had a virtual district conference. By having all the connection to Rotary that we've been able to maintain. But there's a couple of things that we just haven't done yet that we we really, really got to do. You know, one of the most important things to me and one of the most meaningful things to me is when we wrap up our Rotary District Conference and we give out district awards and we do celebration of life and we do other things like that. And I thought we got to do that. So Rotarians and 5870 and anybody else that wants to meet with us, save the date. July the 18th, Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11:30 or sooner if we can get through, we are going to have a celebration of clubs ceremony. We are going to celebrate our Rockstar Challenge that Patrick and Amber put on this year. So many of the clubs participated in that. And we're going to recognize our clubs that stepped up to the challenge and met the challenge of being District 5870 rock stars. And there will be prizes, so you don't want to miss that. Kent Bowles will be with us to carry forth our celebration of life that we've had for several years. It won't be the same as being there in person, but we will do the celebration of life. Then we will also have some district awards. We are going to present our district service awards. We are going to present our new inductees into the Roll of Fame. And we're going to conclude with a very, very special award for one of our Rotarians this year. Now, regarding the awards that you get, I am going to go to every club that gets an award, that gets a foundation banner, who has a member that has received an award or a member that is inducted into the Roll of Fame, and I'll personally present that to you. But I want to invite everybody, and we're doing it on a Saturday morning because when Rick Stacy, brilliantly decided to have his club leadership training on a Saturday morning, we had the biggest crowd of any Zoom we've had. So we're going to shoot for a Saturday morning, July 18th. So please join us. I'll be in contact with some of your clubs about what's going on. You'll hear a lot more about this as we get through the planning stage. So this is just to save the date. But we're not done yet. This may be our last regularly scheduled Friday Zoom, because next Friday we'll be in the midst of the virtual Rotary International Convention. Then we've got Rick's installation on that Saturday. Then we've got July 4th. Then we've got other things. So, and I appreciate Rick so much for letting me encroach on his year by having our celebration event in July. So I know I'm rambling on and everybody's got to go. So I do appreciate everything that y'all have done this year for being a part of this. And let's wrap it up in grand style by having a wonderful celebration on July the 18th. I've got to thank Patrick and Amber. This couldn't have happened without y'all putting all the technical. If I had to do the technical stuff, there's no telling what this thing would look like. So I really appreciate everything that y'all did in getting this together. I appreciate all of our guests that have been with us. I appreciate all the great speakers we had. But more than anything else, I appreciate our Rotarians in District 5870. This has been a crazy, crazy year. But for me, it has been crazy good because of all of you. And I thank you for your support. And I thank you for being there. And I thank you for staying connected during this crazy time. That's all I got, Patrick.
Thank you, Jim. And again, you have been such a joy to work with this year. And
it has been a joy.
The four of us, you, me, Pam, and Amber have
I know.
really,
I wanted to make sure we appreciate the love. I've got to throw Pam in there with us too, because we're turning to her in the background all the time.
Yeah, so Pam and Amber and Jim and I, we've had some fun putting these.
That's my bad. That's my bad on that. I apologize for that, Pam. Goodness, we couldn't run the district without Pam. So thank you so much.
And it's just been fun. And I have to say thank you all to our fan club presidents, Tom and Marianne. No, seriously, this has been an incredible time. It has been awesome to just sit in conversation with all these amazing Rotarians these last weeks. And we look forward to continuing this. I think this is going to be a series that lives on for years to come. And just bear with us. We're going to get it all figured out and come back to you soon. And on behalf of the entire team, I want to thank again, Dr. Sylvia Whitlock. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We know you're busy, and it's just an honor to have you here today. And for all of our zone leadership and RI staff members, anybody on the call, thank you for being with us today, as well as all of our Rotary family from all over the world. Thank you. And to a special thank you to all of our District 5870 Rotarians. Thank you for always being with us and being such a great support. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to everyone who is celebrating. Happy Juneteenth. And go enjoy yourself this weekend. Be safe. Go out and serve the world. And we will see you guys very soon, July 18th, 9 a.m. for sure. But we'll see you before then.
Everybody
All right,
unmute
we'll
yourself and tell us goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for having me again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Whitlock.
Bye, everyone.
Sylvia,
Bowles is
De Caloris.
De Caloris.
it's
You said De
Caloris.
Caloris.
De Caloris.
I did, I'm Dwayne.
Oh,
Folks here in the Rotary.
Been there, done that.
oh my goodness, De Caloris.
Sylvia, thank you so
Anybody's
much.
interested in books, just write to me.
I was hoping
I
that.
just
yeah,
ordered mine off of Amazon.
So,
So it's coming here tomorrow.
Oh, you did? You ordered it? Oh, cool.
I just ordered it offline. I'm excited.
And Sylvia, I tried to add you on Facebook, but I don't know. So add me on Facebook. We'll be friends on Facebook, and we're going to keep in touch. And when you come back down to Texas, we're going to take
I'm not
care
a
of you.
good Facebook person, but you should try. Just ask.
Yeah, I did. I did like 3, 4, 5 years ago. so just find me, or I'll try again. I'll try again tonight.
Okay. All
But
right.
thank you for spending your time with us. And
Okay.
we love you.
Have a good one.
We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
I had to spend two hours teaching me how to work Facebook. So
thanks, Sylvia.
Thank
I
you.
loved your
Helen's
book.
on.
It was
Thank you,
written
Helen.
very well.
What'd you say?
I loved Sylvia's book. It was written very well.
Oh, and that's our Helen Reisler there.
Just write to me if you guys are interested in the book. Write to me. I'll mail them to you guys.
Sylvia, did you hear what Helen said? She said she loves your book. She's been reading it and she loves it.
Yeah, I know. I heard her. Yeah.
Y'all
We
need to
love
get y'all need
Helen.
to get to know each other. Yeah, you would love. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yes.
and Helen, thank you for being with us always.
Okay.
Oh, I enjoy it each time.
Fuck off. All righty.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
And Helen, are you there?
I think
Helen?
she might have-
Yes. Yes.
I love visiting the club every week too. I hope that Andreas and the club staff or the club leadership.
We're going to continue. We're going to
Good.
continue. So you're always welcome.
Good, because it's my new Thursday mornings. I love it. I love
Good,
being-
good. I love to have you there.
Ruth, we're going to call you. We're calling you.
Good program. Thank you.
Hey, good to
Checking
see you.
out.
I like the
See you,
camera.
Tim. We
Nice
like
to
looking
thank
at
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Rick Stacy, get off
a good
already?
weekend.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Rick.
Right here.
Hey, Rick,
Yes.
we got to talk to you.
We got to talk to you. We got a favor to ask.
Hey, stop recording, Amber.
Okay.